Such vision.
I predicted it on this very programme.
Now it means that he is the party's chosen candidate to contest the presidential election. Republican supporter and Trump critic Leon Wolfe joins us from the convention. Well, very good morning to you. You're a Republican. You have Republican blood flowing through your body, but you would... Well, where would you stop to stop Trump becoming president of the United States?
Well, I haven't found that point yet, whatever it might be. I mean, I certainly think that I hope that the election is not close enough as we come down the tube in November. I certainly hope it's not close enough that I have to consider voting for Hillary, although that'll be a consideration. I hope that I'll be able to just not vote or vote for Gary Johnson. But I do think that Trump is an existential threat to global peace, to the future of the United States, and I would do whatever I needed to do to stop him from becoming the president, I think.
You're not going to vote for Hillary Clinton. Why are you pretending you're going to vote for a Democrat? Come off it. If you are going to do that, you're not a real Republican.
Well, listen. Well, I'm absolutely a real Republican. I mean, listen, I was 3 years old when my dad was running a campaign for a Republican for Congress. I was out there on a float passing out buttons. I've worked for probably 15, 20 Republican campaigns in my life. I've never voted for a Democrat ever that I can recall. But, you know, Donald Trump is simply, in quite frankly, a different kind of character. And it's not ideological for me. It's just that the man is not fit as a human being by temperament or judgment to hold the office of a country that has a military that can do as much damage as ours. I think
tell
that's
me
the
the difference
between to the whole world.
Tell me the difference between Donald Trump and, say, George W. Bush.
Right, well, George W. Bush is not a guy that I agreed on definitely for everything, but I think that I agreed with him on 70% of different things. And I think a lot of people will say, well, you know, looking back at the Iraq War, certainly there's some things that could have been done differently. I don't know many people who are strongly in favor of it now, even within the Republican Party, and I might be among that number. But still, that's a different character of thing from what Donald Trump would be. And I'll give you an illustration that has to do with George Bush. Is that back in 2004, Hugo Chavez of Venezuela came to the United Nations and he made this firebrand speech. He said, George Bush is the devil, the smell of sulfur is in this place from where George Bush came here and spoke yesterday. And how did George Bush respond to that? Not at all. He didn't really respond to it. He says, look, I'm the President of the United States. I don't have to respond to Hugo Chavez. How do I think Donald Trump would have responded to that? I think the Marines would have been invading Caracas within the day. I think they are completely different people.
Okay, but hang on. The truth about George Bush is that he responded to 9/11, an attack by Al-Qaeda, an Islamic fundamentalist organization, by invading the sovereign country of Iraq, which had nothing to do with it, which was predominantly then a rather secular regime under Saddam Hussein. Why would you trust somebody like George Bush with the nuclear trigger any more than you would trust Donald Trump? I'm at a bit of a loss here to understand why you'd be never Trump, but always Bush.
Well, listen, I think we could relitigate the Iraq War all we want to into oblivion. Knowing what we knew at the time in 2004, I think it was definitely reasonable to believe that George Bush's plan for stabilizing the Middle East, of putting essentially a Marshall Plan in the Middle East, was at least one possible course for the world to go. And you know, for whatever you want to say now about what was found there and what was not found there, and we still have arguments about that continuing on today, I think that's a completely different thing from what George Bush did in terms of acting in the national interest from what Trump would do just acting in somebody insulted me and I don't like it.
Okay, well, I think I'd rather have people probably trading insults than going to war illegally and unethically with no evidence of weapons of mass destruction. However, Mr. Never Trump, thank you very much indeed for joining us. And I suppose if he does actually win, do you admit then the Never Trump campaign's over, or do you just carry on?
Well, I mean, if he wins, I mean, obviously there's nothing less for us to do. I mean, that's what Never Trump means. We're not going to vote for him. I wouldn't vote for him for re-election unless he did a good job of president, an unexpectedly good job for president. But, you know, certainly at that point the fight would be over.
And if you don't vote for Hillary Clinton, will you make a $1,000 donation to charity of my choice?
No, I never said, I never guarantee that I would vote for Hillary Clinton. I'd say it's within the realm of possibility. I would like to be able to just not vote or vote for a third party.
I get it, but just to clarify...
But we'll see. We'll see how close it is.
If you don't vote for Hillary Clinton, though, if you don't actually carry out your threat, $1,000 to charity, yes or no?
What are you going to put? What are you going to put up as the opposite bet, Piers? What are you going to vote? What are you going to donate to my charity?
I don't believe in a million years you're going to vote for Hillary Clinton, a Democrat candidate, against a Republican. So I'm saying I will give $1,000 to a charity of your choice if you actually go to a polling booth and put your name down next to the Democrat candidate to beat a Republican. Because I think this never Trump thing is a bit spurious, and I think you don't really mean it.
I'll tell you what, I will donate $1,000 to charity. I'll take a picture of my ballot if I do vote for Donald Trump. If I vote for somebody other than Donald Trump, whether it be Gary Johnson or leave the ballot blank or Hillary Clinton, I'll take a picture. I'll send it to you, Piers. Okay. You donate $1,000
It's Hillary or nothing.
I promise you I will do that.
All right. It's Hillary or nothing, but good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed. Laura, who are you voting for?
Well, I just want $1,000 for anything. I don't mind. I'm good.
I met one of my debtors the other night at that party we were at, John Whittingdale. Actually, it was another party, Simon Cowell's party.